Hi Scorpio. Welcome to your mid-March Tarot and Astrology reading. This applies to Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. So, the habits that we keep really shape who we are. And as a Scorpio, you can be so regimented with your habits because as a detective, as a natural detective, you know that everything can be traced back to something, to some decision. Everything can be traced back to a decision. So what decisions are you making leading up to the Aries full moon? Aries new moon, I beg your pardon. Well, the decisions that you make around the Aries new moon will shape the rest of your year. Regardless of what is going on around you in the world, what is going on internally, what choices are you making for you, yourself, your health habits? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough fresh air? Are you getting enough exercise? What are you telling yourself? What are you doing too much of? What are you doing too little of? My mum, who's a Scorpio, sent me a recommendation to pass on to everyone, and it is that you should be drinking water every 15 minutes because it stops things sticking in your lungs. It flushes things to your stomach where it can be killed. Anything that you don't want in there. So drink water every 15 minutes. There's a habit, if you couldn't think of one. But aside from that, Scorpio, Aries season is very much to do with the things that shape you. And you really can lead yourself towards something quite great. But if you can use discernment to know when you should be acting and when you should not be acting and when you should be patient and when you should be more moderate, you can still have that 10 of Cups, even if you feel very up in the air at the minute, even if you feel very confused about where things are. Pisces season should have taught you with Mercury retrograde that patience is indeed a virtue. And as we lead into Aries season, people are short on patience. But if you can look to the Sagittarians and the Pisces in your life for a fluidity to go with the flow and focus on your own habits rather than everybody else's, focus on your own house, your own family rather than everybody else's, this is not a time to keep up with the Joneses. This is a time to keep up with Scorpio. This is a time to be willing to accept that your 10 of Cups moment might not feel quite right just yet, but it is getting there. Focus on your habits. Now, Venus is sitting in Taurus with Uranus for the rest of March. And this is beautiful for you romantically. And I'm sorry that when things look up for Scorpio romantically really, really, really good, the world seems to be a little bit scary. Ace of Swords, double-edged sword. The world seems to be a little bit of a darker place, but the world is also telling you to stay away from people, to not connect with people. But love is here. And where is love without the connection? Where is the sense in a lack of connection in terms of healing a humanity? It might not feel like it yet, Scorpio, for those of you that are single, but love is here. You might not be able to see it just yet. And some of you do see it. Some of you are going through it. Some of you are experiencing it and you're thinking, ah, yes, I know. I'm scared though. Even some of you that are in long-term relationships that feel very tumultuous, love is here. You'll figure it out. You always do. 3 of Wands. King of Cups. King of Wands. 7 of Swords. And the 6 of Cups. Queen of Wands is underneath. 6 of Cups. 2 of Cups. And the Lovers. Your 3 outcome cards, because I always pull 3 for this particular spread. Would you like any more clarification, Scorpio, that love is here? Because I see and I see and I see and I understand and I understand and I understand, and yet we question. So let us pack it in, let us begin. So, Scorpio. Let's talk with the elephant in the room, the most dreaded Scorpio card of all time in the challenge position, the 7 of Swords. Would you believe me if I said that it's not necessarily the people around you doing the tricking? Would you believe me? Do you know who steals Scorpio's joy more than anybody else? Scorpio does. And do you know why Scorpio does this? Because Scorpio is afraid of being happy. You're not comfortable with being happy. 8th house energy, you can really get suspicious of it. And that is the biggest block to it that there were. But the fire signs really want to show you what you deserve. And they might not do it in necessarily the way that you would do it. No. Because the way that you want to convey the fact that you deserve happiness is by being secretive. It's by keeping your feelings close to your chest until you're entirely sure. The fire signs, on the other hand, are very outward about the way that they deserve happiness. I was talking to a Sagittarian earlier, a Sagittarian female, and she has recently fallen for somebody and they've fallen for her, and it's beautiful, and you can see the glow and the radiance. A Scorpio, I think, falls and gets very, very, very frightened. And there's this little turning point with a Scorpio where they can start to sting themselves because A, they are aware that there's something wrong with the person they're dating, there's red flags, and they're ignoring them anyway. I see it happen all the time with Scorpios. Because they, especially if they've told people about it, they don't want to admit that something's really, really wrong. Secondly, you can think that the person's amazing, and then you can start degrading yourself because you don't think that you compare, even though you're more than enough as you are, and you're also not above or below anybody else. So why do we have 2 kings here? Well, we have you in the middle. You could also be dealing with another water sign, a Cancer, a Pisces, or a fellow Scorpio. We also have the Sagittarius, Aries, Leo card twice with the Queen and twice with the King. And I think your fire sign friends really, really want you to come out of this self-induced isolation, this downward spiral of am I enough, will I ever find love, love doesn't exist, 3 of Swords moment. They want to pull you out of it, and they want you to see the star. They want you to see the hope. They want you to see your worth. They want you to see your joy. Okay, that's lovely. But what does that mean for you, Scorpio? Well, you can see it. 6 of Cups, 2 of Cups, and the Lovers. It's quite a hand. 6 of Cups, 2 of Cups, and the Lovers. This is a soulmate type of energy. This is a soulmate type of love. This isn't the type of love that just comes around and waltzes right back out again. The kind of love that a lot of Scorpios over the last 7 years got very, very used to. No, this is something deeper. The Two of Cups and the Lovers, while side by side, often indicate a very, very powerful love union that goes to the point of marriage. It goes to the point of children, very likely with the Six of Cups. It goes the distance. Six of Cups is this open invitation to people past, present, and future in your life. And I know that that may make you suspicious. But I say with all sincerity, Scorpio, that rarely will this kind of union represent someone in your past who deceived you or was hurt or was toxic. But the trouble is, and this was a Mercury retrograde repercussion in Pisces, have to be honest, Scorpio, you may have been very, very, very surprised by the people that reappeared in your life who hurt you. But you will be even more surprised by the reappearance of someone who hurt you exceptionally, even when Mercury goes direct. And why is this? It is because when you come into alignment with yourself and you start to see who you really are and what you deserve, the universe kind of likes to test you and see if you got the message. It kind of likes to put someone who's very attractive and very hurtful and not very nice in your face just to see if you will give in to that ego trap of the right here, right now, rather than I'll leave it a little bit and see the thing that I actually deserve. So the Seven of Swords could represent someone reappearing in your life who has given you breadcrumbs, who's given you tuppence, but it may also represent you self-sabotaging yourself and choosing what is available and what is close rather than what is authentic and what is real. And here is you with the Three of Swords, seeing your ships come in and deciding what it is that you're going to do. Again, your fire sign friends are going to tell you, honestly, especially if it's an Aries, especially if it's a Leo, especially if it's a fire sign, they will tell you when the person that you're with is trash, when the person that you're with is not right for you. They will tell you. Their advice is better to take than the air signs, because the air signs at the minute are a little bit scared of you. So they'll tell you what you want to hear. Sorry, but that's the way it is. And you won't be mad about any of that. Because Scorpio, going towards from the end of March towards April, a lot of Scorpios are going to start to see either the synchronicities or the person or the deepening, whatever stage it's at for you. You're going to see a very, very beautiful love blossom. And it could very well be with a fire sign, because the King of Wands is here in the positive position. The Aries, the Leo, the Sagittarius, all very much here in the positive position. And please don't write that off and say, I'm single, anyone that I've dated that's a fire sign is this, that, or whatever. Not a chance. You don't know that you know this person yet. The Three of Wands is kind of an energy of maybe you haven't quite seen them. Maybe they haven't quite appeared. There's a bit of a long distance aspect to this, or a different culture even, in my opinion. But the Six of Cups, as I say, it could very well be someone from any time frame, be it right now, be it 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatnot. Be it something entirely new that you can't quite conceive yet, but you have this feeling that it's happening. And maybe you have an inkling about a person in particular. Because the Six of Cups is that knowing, that recognizing somebody, recognizing a spirit from a past life. But you know what you have to do, Scorpio, more than anything? Is be honest. Be honest about what you like, be honest about what you don't like, be honest about who you are. Don't present as somebody that you're not. I see it a lot that Scorpios are very magnetic and very attractive and very mysterious, and yet also quite goofy. particularly with the fire signs. I'm a Scorpio, and there are 2 fire sign friends that I have. One's an Aries and one's a Sagittarius, and they absolutely bring out my inner child more than anybody else. Yet you can have great conversations with them. And if you're looking for that in a partner per se, here we go. King of Wands. Someone who's very ambitious, someone who's very attentive, someone who's very loving, someone who's very warm, someone who really loves life. And if you're dealing with a fire sign at the minute you're in a relationship with, well, it can only get better. If you're dealing with another Cancer, another Scorpio, a Cancer, or a Pisces, you have a lot of fear surrounding that. And there's a lot of secrecy involved with this Seven of Swords. And I think Scorpio, with Mercury now going direct and Mars going into kind of a tricky aspect, Saturn going into, it's all a bit tricky. Please don't bring forward people that bring out your aggressive side, your angry side, your toxic side. They bring out the worst in you. Don't bring that stuff forward. If that has actually gotten past the the Saturn-Pluto conjunction of January in the eclipse, it really will not last past July. Because it will crumble. Because you're having to hold it together with lies. Anything that has to be held together with lies will not last past the summer. And what is the opposite to a lie? It's the truth. Tell the truth. Be honest. Maybe you can salvage that if you're honest about it. But for a lot of Scorpios, this really is looking like a love you've never felt before. And for some of you maybe that aren't looking for love, please accept that this is quite simply your love of life, love of self, love of family. If there's one thing that I find at the minute that I take great comfort in is that people are being honest about how much they love their family. People are being so very honest about how much they love their parents, how much they love their children, how much they love their grandparents. And I think that is the most beautiful thing that is coming out of everything that is coming out of people's fear, is that they're actually talking about love. Like, they're talking about how much they love people. They love their friends, they're concerned for people. They want people to be safe, and they're showing that. They're going through lengths to show that. And that is one of the most important keys to unlocking more love in your life that I think Scorpios oftentimes find it hard to do, because you feel very vulnerable. That it won't be received, or that it will be slighted, or that it will be made to embarrass you because you feel it so very, very deeply. Scorpios are very much the writers of the zodiac, I think. And I'll explain why I say that, because you would associate that with Gemini. But whenever I did a master's degree in creative writing, one of the things that we all talked about was that how when you're a writer, and it really, 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 really matters to you, because I did law, and I did a master's in law as well, and the things that you submit, when you submit a thesis on the law, you don't have that same vulnerability that you attach to what you've written from the heart. And this is what I associate with Scorpios. When you put something out there into the world that you're very passionate about, that you really, really, really love, there's a fear there. And this is where the self-sabotage comes in, because you will reject yourself before anybody else does, so that you won't actually put yourself out there. You will look at someone and think, I have this feeling that they're meant to be in my life, and you will say, but I'm not enough for them. They'll probably rather be with somebody else. They'd probably rather be with a fire sign. Look how fun the fire signs are. You know what I mean? This is your challenge. This Seven of Swords is your challenge, and you, Scorpio, can overcome this secretive nature, by being more expressive, by honing in on your habits, listening to your self-talk, observing your thoughts with detachment. Mars and Saturn in Aquarius want us to observe with detachment, to act with a bit of detachment. Venus in Taurus, the Sun in Pisces right up until Aries season. Yes, act with love. You can be loving and detached to the outcome. But be yourself first and foremost, Scorpio, because the Lovers card in the traditional deck, and they're not here, they're kind of naked. They're not really naked, and these are just two floating heads. But we can assume that the bodies they don't see, they don't have, they're naked. And then we have children who, the theme here is vulnerability. Children are vulnerable because they are young, they are naive in a sense. Love makes you feel young and naive, doesn't it? And you hate being naive. But you've learned a lot. Saturn's about to change signs. You'll see how much you've learned. And you know where Saturn was, Scorpio? Capricorn. And you know what Capricorn is for you? Communication, writing. You've learned that you need to speak your truth in order to have the life that you want. You speak your truth, you say your piece, you be unapologetically you. And that is when this happens. So at the risk of losing my own voice, Scorpio, I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the April horoscopes. Love you guys. Bye.